I see the end of traditional planning. But the reality is, in most organizations, what we called strategic planning was 5% strategy and 95% planning. It tended just to extrapolate on what was there. It never started by creating a lot of very interesting new strategic options. So for me, the heart of any strategy process is it starts by generating a lot of interesting new possibilities. And I see leaders today not as the authors of strategy, but as the editors of strategy. So at some point in a large organization, you have to decide which ideas to back. But first of all, I have to have an interesting set of ideas to choose from, and most organizations don't have that. So yes, is there going to be strategy? Does it matter that as you look at a business model, you can say what gives us an advantage here and what gives us leverage and where are increasing returns and where are network effects and what capabilities? I mean, thinking about the business in a holistic way, thinking about how you gain advantage over other rivals, this is always going to be important. This is not going to go away. But the way you discover what comes next as an organization, the way you find that strategy, that has to be much more open, much more bottom up. And then as a leader, you start to look across all these ideas and you see the patterns in them. We did a very interesting piece of work a couple of years ago with Adidas, or Adidas, the sportswear company. And we trained thousands of people there to think like innovators. They generated tens of thousands of ideas. And when you looked across those, then you started to see the strategy. They said, the sporting good industry has not paid much attention to women. And you see a whole lot of ideas that came up that are focused on women, where if you're sitting at headquarters in Germany, that may not be obvious that yoga is a sport, right? And you have to think about this whole new business of athletic leisure wear. Or that esports are going to be a big thing with, kids, 100,000 kids in a stadium watching other kids play video games. Is that a sport? Probably it is. So I think the way you discover strategy still has to be now a more open bottom-up way, but in the end, you still have to make choices. You can't bet on everything, and you make choices based on, do we have an advantage here? Will this produce above average returns? Does it give us leverage? That I don't think has changed. But strategic planning, that pretty much needs to die.